G'day folks, welcome to this report from the first Axis turn from this case blue scenario. It has taken me a while. I haven't had any chance to play this throughout the week, so it's taken a while to kind of get to this point. But one of the good things about Vassal and, well, OCS in general is you can kind of do a few moves, then walk away. And, you know, this tracks your movement, it tracks your units that have moved. Yeah, so you can do it in little bite-sized chunks throughout the week. So, just to recap what's happened. Up in the north, not a lot of combat through here, just breaking down a lot of these German divisions and securing the front line. This is where the activity was, and of course, we saw 4th Panzer Division break through and capture Vukovo, this little village on the rail line. What this does is it cuts rail to the Soviet force, cuts supply to these Soviet forces here. So these guys are going to be in trouble. Okay, so limited action up in the north there. But what this also does is it kind of puts a pressure on these Soviet forces, because this now creates kind of a path towards Yelets here. And it just means that the Soviets can't send all these corps and divisions to the south. They'll need to, you know, watch their northern flank as well. And this is the most important breakthrough in the whole game. We have got plenty of corps divisions driving through. Got the 9th Panzer, 11th Panzer, Guards motorised, 24th Panzer. I don't think they're Guards motorised, it's something else. Greece Deutschland motorised, I think that is. We have an extender set up here, so that lets us push supplies. So they can draw supplies all the way back to here. And next turn, this headquarters will be able to drive down to somewhere here and draw supply from that rail line and then push their supplies down into this vicinity. They all have their sort of intrinsic supply trucks, which will let them fuel up and drive further south. Yeah. So the Soviets, this rail line is cut from the north. The Soviets still have this rail line out to Stary Oskol here, but they're in trouble. Right? They basically, this will easily be cut off if they don't pull back. So all these Soviet forces here will need to withdraw. Hungarians kind of pushed up to the lines here, made a little limited attack. We can see here the Hungarian 1st Panzer Division broke through. They start off way behind the line, so they couldn't move too far. But yeah, they're putting Novi Oskol under threat, and again, just kind of making it difficult for all these units to pull back. Not a lot of action with the infantry along the front here. They're just kind of holding the lines. And this is the second kind of important breakthrough in the north, this drive from this vicinity up through Veluki. So we've captured Veluki. What I just highlighted here is my units that are, high supply and low supply. So they've captured Veluki, they exploited down and secured Urazovo. And this is important because this is 1 rail supply for the Soviets. This is 2 rail line supplies for the Soviets. And that means that they cannot get their supplies to these detrainable hexes. They've captured both important detrainable hexes here. And if you look at this rail line to the south, it is cut off down here. So it doesn't flow through to supplies. So that means that all these Soviets in this whole vicinity are at risk of being out of trace supply. Now you'll notice Starobelsk down here is a detrainable hex, and there's no headquarters there. So yeah, look, there's Soviets in trouble in this area. I guess there's a headquarters here, and they can throw supplies forward, but it doesn't have that long-term sustainability. So yes, they've pushed through, and then we released our reserves so that we opened this sort of road crossing here along the Oskol River through Veluki, and then we released our reserves, the 23rd Panzer and 29th Motorized, and they can just fly through this area here, and they're all the way up to Ostrogosk, almost at the Don River, just south of Voronezh. So as this northern drive, you can see it's just the top here, comes down. They'll meet this southern drive. We even have this open bridge here. That won't last long, so it's rushed to block that. But yeah, just undermines all these Soviet positions along the front lines. So yes, so it's important breakthroughs, and yeah, that's what's been happening in the north. The Romanians keeping very quiet, just holding the lines here. No combat throughout here. Still have some reserves behind the front. And this is the other important breakthrough. So the Italians kind of punch this hole through the lines here, occupy this main road. It's called a secondary road, but it's the main road leading to Voroshilovgrad here. We push the Soviets kind of just out of the way here. We secure this crossing of the Donets. The 11th Panzer have got their intrinsic trucks that they can use to fuel and drive north, where they can then link up with the 3rd Panzer coming from the south. So Sarabelsk is under threat, and they'll have to do something there. Meanwhile, we sent the 16th Panzer around to the south. They've secured this crossing. This is a secondary road crossing. So from here, 16th Panzer can drive towards Milorovo. And that's one of my key sort of stage 2 objectives. And it's wide open at the moment. It's just sitting off there, ready for me to drive at. We do have the 24th Tank Corps here, but they cannot sustain there anymore because their supplies are at risk of being cut off. In fact, yeah, we can get supplies to here, they can draw supplies, but this is, again, not something they can really hold on to. They'll want to be pulling back quite quick. So yeah, we've got 14th Panzer, 16th Panzer, 60th Motorised pushing through, driving through this gap, advancing the rail lines at the same time. Things looking pretty good in this vicinity. Down the south here, and this is just near Rostov, you can see Rostov here. This didn't go to plan. We did narrowly push the Soviets away from Kuibyshevo, but it wasn't a convincing combat. I think we suffered some losses along the way, didn't get any exploitation, and we just hold that bridgehead across. What is this river? This is the Mias River. So not convincing, not prioritising really this area. I was also very limited on supplies. And then that leaves us with just one little area left, and that is the Crimea and Sevastopol. Not much happened here. I did disorganise one combat basically in this area here. I disorganised the Soviets, but look, they're under this level 3 hedgehog, and that really hurts my combat. And I think the Germans suffered 2-step losses, I think, in their attempt. So yeah, not too happy about that. So these important breakthroughs on turn 1 have happened. The problem is, and you'll notice behind the lines here, I've highlighted my supplies. There is not a lot available. There is some up in the north here. This is my main drive. So things are okay here. And again, we have our intrinsic trucks, which can fuel these units. But, like, okay, this is good. But then we come down here and you'll notice there is not a lot left. 1 token, that's it for this entire area. I've pushed through the 23rd Panzer. They have their trucks fueled. 29th Motorised do not. So they're going to be in a bit of trouble here. I'm going to really have to... their truck is behind the lines somewhere, trying to rush. Here it is, all over here, trying to pick up some supplies from far away and get it up there. But yes, I've broken through, but now I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. Next turn might be... there's 1 token there. Okay. Oh, that needs to change side. Oh no, it's fine. 1 token there, not a lot, basically. And down the south here, again, similar story. No supplies anywhere. So whilst these where are their trucks? I don't even know where the 16th Panzer... oh, they're all the way back here without supplies. Okay, so yes, spot of bother for some of these. They're fueled. 14th Panzer are fueled, and 60th Motorised are fueled. The Italians are not. Where is the Italian truck? I do not know. Okay, so yeah, supply supply challenges. And this is, bear in mind, if you've watched any of the videos, I was really selective, trying to be very selective with my combat. I wasn't just throwing supplies around into unnecessary combats. I focused on the breakthrough and then securing the rivers. Maybe I think this attack here ended up costing me quite a lot. I wish I would have diverted the supplies I spent here, because I had to fuel the division and then fuel their overrun attempts and then fuel their combat. It ended up costing a lot of supplies just to get one hex. This is the most important hex, Kui by Shevo. I kind of, in hindsight, wish I would have just sent everything up into Voroshilovgrad. Yeah. But anyway, there we are. It's taken me a while because of, I do little bits at a time, but it's now up to the Soviet turn. And they have some very tough decisions to make. Looking at the top here, things, well, they can hold steady here, they can hold there, but then there's this big gap and supplies are being cut. I don't know. Okay, they can draw supply and throw it. So this headquarters here can throw trace supply, but they at risk of being cut off by that 4th Panzer division coming from the north. So they'll want to pull back, which means that all these units will need to pull back as well. And they're pretty slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's as far back as a lot of these divisions are going to get. Divisions and brigades and regiments. So, there's going to be a lot of spending a lot of time looking at the Soviet response, thinking about what they're going to do. A lot of these are not. Look at this guy. 1, 3 at max. So 1, 2, 3. He's going to be able to get back to here. So he's not going to get far at all. And all these along the front here, they're as good as gone. What can they do? We'll need to think about what they do. Huge gaps. We'll need to break down these divisions and to break down units and try and spread out as much as possible. Try and pull back to Novi Oskol. Here's the Germans. Okay, get on this secondary road here and just rush back as fast as we can. Down here might be pull away south of Veluki and then try to get to Starobelsk and then, Milorovo beyond. Try and get as many of these units to survive as possible. I don't think there's the option of holding. Yes. This headquarters here, they can't draw supply. They're too far. These guys can 1, 2, 3. They can draw supplies. Actually, you know what? No, they can't. Not even Starobelsk. Starobelsk is cut off as well because this rail line leads to here and it leads to here. So this is cut off from supplies as well. So where are the Soviets drawing trace supply from? This is the rail line they can use. They can use this rail line here. Milorovo is probably the closest D-trainable hex. Here we go. Kentemirovka and Rososh. So this is where. Do we have a headquarters there? No, we don't. Oh, they've got some supplies there though. So we'll have to look. It's going to be a run. They're going to get the heck out of the way, pull back. We'll see what happens. All right, folks. So yeah, starting to move into the Soviet considerations now. It's going to take me a while, but yeah, thanks for watching and take care.